Hello and welcome to Giant Mess, a super sloppy sports and entertainment podcast that's hosted by a giant mess. That's me, the real cinch, Neal Lynch. I'm a former fourth-string college quarterback and mediocre middle relief pitcher who earned himself a film and media studies degree, worth its weight in gold. Now I'm a single dad who loves to talk about movies, TV, Giants football, Mets baseball, comedy, with some life stories mixed in for good measure. On today's episode, we're going to be running down the most interesting stories, the most popular stories, both on a personal level and also on a global scale from October 2024. Yeah, that's right. We're still playing catch up here, folks. But I guarantee it'll be worth your time. Time is money. So I am spending all your money right now. I hope that's cool because I don't have any of my own. So without further ado, let's get it started up in here. All right. So here's what I'm doing. Kind of weird, but I was looking over what all my personal stories from October, and I was like, I don't know that this is really moving the needle for me. And if it's not moving it for me, which I know some people have said in the past that I have equipment issues downstairs, not true, fake news. But there wasn't a lot moving the needle for me. And I don't think there was in terms of personal stories, I don't think it's going to move a lot of people. So I thought, well, let me see what the hell was going on in October and what people were searching for on the interwebs. You know, I subscribed to the Google search trends newsletter. I was like, let me just comb through those and see what happened, and maybe that will stir something and spark something within me. And to be honest, none of this stuff affects me. I was just looking at the list. It's like, well, I guess some of it does. Well, okay, so we're starting off with the hurricanes. There's Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton. The names that they're giving these hurricanes are simply magical. I had a whole... I think I did pretty much a whole segment, block. It might have been my whole set, stand-up comedy set back in 2013 at, I think it was East Village, maybe, comedy club. And it was all about what if there was a meeting of the natural disasters or something like that, of hurricanes. It was a meeting of hurricanes, and I'll see if I can find it and insert it here. But I posted it on, I published it on YouTube, and at the time I was working at Daily Motion, so I posted to Daily Motion. But I also did a blog and embedded the video, and I got a comment either on the video or on the blog post itself from a guy who was like, "Hey, I'm black and I racially approve." So, ringing endorsement from the African-American community on, you can only imagine what kind of jokes. Hint, Katrina. So yeah, check that out. Or maybe I'll edit it in. Probably not. So Hurricane Helene, crazy name. And it's wild because my friends who I visit in Block Island, they purchased the house from a couple, and the wife's name was Helene. And unfortunately, she passed, not in Hurricane Helene, but she passed, I guess, might have been last summer. Was it last summer? Before last summer, I think it was cancer, which is just nuts because, I saw her in 2021. I think it was summer of 2021 when they were looking at houses, and she seems, fit as a fiddle, healthy, but I guess the damn C word don't care what you look like or what you do. Ugh. So Hurricane Helene, I think it hit end of September, early October. It fouled up the Mets Braves game. I know they I think they delayed it or postponed it on that Friday. And so they had to do was it Saturday? And then they had to do a doubleheader on Saturday or Sunday. And both the Mets and Braves make the postseason, and then the Mets go on to faced the Brewers in the wild card the very next day, because that's fair. So many bigger issues at hand than baseball and the old Jesus Christ. Hurricane Helene messed up a lot of Florida and the Carolinas, Georgia coastline. And then we had Hurricane Milton, Category 5 hurricane that made landfall near Siesta Key in Florida. One of the stories that my mom forwarded me was how the Tropicana's Field, the roof on Tropicana Field came clear off. I don't know if it was Helene or Milton, just blew the roof right off the motherfucker. And I'm sure no one is mourning that. That's one thing, one loss we're not mourning. That field was gross. That stadium was gross. It sucks too, because it's like, I love the Tampa Bay area. I managed to go to one game there. I don't know if I've been to two. One game, and it was just like, where am I right now? I've told that story before, but like they had Hulk Hogan is like made his landfall in Florida, in the Tampa area. He had a bar there, no longer there. I've told that story way too many times. We're not doing the hits tonight. Okay? We're moving forward. But one of the Nasty Boys would get on the big screen, the Jumbotron, to get the crowd psyched up. I was like, you're in Tampa when one half of the Nasty Boys, prominent WWE tag team champions. Were they champions? In the early 90s. Two guys who would think would like, looking at them, you're like, you wrestle and you're good and you win and you get a belt. Okay. The Nasty Boys. Ooh, them Nasty Boys. But on a personal level, my Uncle Dave, I guess I shouldn't say names. I guess you wouldn't know their last names. My uncle and aunt moved to Florida. They used to live in the Manasquan, Jersey Shore. And then, so they got hit by Sandy, destroyed the house. They rebuilt the house into a beautiful house. I really love that house a lot. And then they sold it and moved down to Florida, near where Tiger Woods lived or lives. Jupiter or something like that. Hope. I don't know. Northeastern coast of Florida. So they had to deal with Helene. And then I guess they were in the Carolinas, maybe visiting friends, or just, they're living that RV life. So like they're just traveling the world, traveling the country in the RV, which, honest to God, I think that's, that's what I would like to do if I ever get to retire. Oh, it's a pipe dream, I know, but cross your fingers and pray to whatever God you got going on up there that I get to retire and get an RV. I'll be driving it by myself, but it'd still be fun to see the sights. So, I mean, they get hit by, my aunt and uncle get hit by Helene, and then hit by Milton. They were in the Carolinas, I think, when Milton came that way. So they had to evacuate. They had to take shelter. They're staying with friends. I mean, they made it out okay. They're all right. They're safe. But woof, it's like, I don't know if that's, because the way that life is panning out for me at this point, it's like, I don't see myself being with anyone. So I'm just going to be I can't be by myself. When that's, if I'm going to go to, like, that's the thing. That's the plan, right? You move south because the winters, I can barely handle the winters in the Northeast now. And it's not like I live in Maine or like near Canada, or Buffalo. Like I live in central Jersey. So it's like, it's not Chicago or anything like that. Places that get like huge blizzards and snowfall. It's like, I just can't, my body, dude. It's just like it gets stiff and it's just like it can't move. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I actually had an accident the other night where I was carrying my recycling bins down the stairs. had my snow boots on, the stairs in my building. So not the outside stairs, the inside my building. And I I guess I mistimed or miscounted the number of steps and just completely missed and whiffed, like barely clipped the last step and then just went face first and down. And, I had like, I got a contusion, a bump on my knee, twisted my left ankle, and then like a scratch on my face. And I'm like, I can't imagine what this fall would be like at age, like in 10 years. And then I can't even imagine what that fall will be like in 20 to 30 years. Like, I might never get up. It's like that movie Thelma. I don't know if you ever watched the movie Thelma. I don't even know if I have it on this list of movies that I've watched, but like there's a scene, awesome movie, by the way. I highly recommend it. I think it's on Hulu. And the woman's like recruiting a friend of hers that lives at a retirement home. The woman refuses to live in a retirement home. She thinks that they're mistreated. And, you hear those horror stories about all the elder abuse going on. But the dude is played by Richard Roundtree from Shaft, the original Shaft. But he's not like this action hero in this movie. He's a retiree who is living at a retirement home in the elder community, and he's like he's learning how to pick people up from a fall. He's like, the food's all right, like we put on plays. He's like kind of digs it, right? And he never like comes across as like, oh, that's Shaft, that's an action hero. And then of course it like all comes into play later on. Nice little payoff there. But the other payoff is, so he tells this story about how he learned how to pick people up when they fall. Sure enough, they split up, they go their separate ways. That typical moment in most like buddy movies, hero sidekick movies or two best friends movies, super bad. Every movie where it's like two best friends, they hash it out, they have a disagreement, and then they split up. So that happens. And the old woman is trying to cross a huge field where there's like, it's just vacant. There's no one around, and she falls and she like can't get back up. So then that's when Richard Roundtree, spoiler alert here, Richard Roundtree comes and shows her how to pick her up, like the proper way to pick her up. So anyway, that was a long road we went down. But it was basically saying like, I'm looking forward to retiring in Florida, strictly because, I probably wanted to deal with a lot of ice, and like the probability of me slipping and falling goes down a little bit. But still, the idea that like I'm right now, I'm in my apartment by myself. Like if anything happens to me and I'm not making it out, dude. I'm not making it to the next level. I'm not advancing another step. Like it's curtains for your boy. That's kind of scary. So it's like I see all these apartments and homes that are available, or like I should say apartment complexes. I can't afford a home, you jerk off. So there's all these apartments in the area that I just keep looking here and there because I'm like, there's got to be a better place than where I'm in now. There's got to be a better place. And of course there's not, except for these beautiful apartment complexes that are reasonably priced. And it's always a 55 plus community. So I'm like, well, at least, 11 years from now, I'll be able to finally land that reasonably priced apartment. So it's like, why can't we hopefully you see where I'm going with this. Like there's a 55 plus community. Cool. What about like a 40 plus community of just divorced people? Like, how about like you can't live there unless you are a divorced parent? Is there a community like that? Why did the 55 plus community get their own apartment complexes where if you're younger, you're not allowed in? Why can't we do that for every group of people? I would love that. So yeah, the threat of slipping on ice goes down when you retire and move to Florida. And it's just like beautiful weather all the time. But the downside, the con is crazy people, and hurricanes. So do I want to go to Florida? I mean, I do love me some Florida, but I don't know. These hurricanes, it's like, I can only imagine being like 70 years old, no wife or girlfriend to be seen, my daughter not living with me or near me, my family in 2 states away. It's like hurricanes coming and I'm like, well, it's been a good run. I can't deal with this. So, oh no. Go back up. So, one of the questions that I found from this Google Trends newsletter. Oh, the other part of that hurricane season, my brother-in-law is I can't call him a psychopath. I don't think I can call him a sociopath either. He's some kind of path. I know that. But this man has got his fingers and his hands in so many freaking pies. Giggity. It is unreal. He's not, I mean, most people know he's an ER doc. He has been hired as a director at another hospital, which is another emergency center, which is crazy. Emergency care center. He started a fishing business called Real Emergency LLC. He has started his own medical group called Maverick, where he helps people live a healthier lifestyle and manage their weight. And he's got an ambulance service. Say what? I mean, fishing business, ambulance business, ER doc, director of another care center, like medical group. What the hell is going on? I don't have a job. I don't have a business. I have no business being on this planet, really. I got nothing, dude. I got this here pod, right? Yeah. So yeah, I guess, I don't know what the name of the ambulance service is, but like he hired a dude, bought an ambulance, and that ambulance was helping people out in the Carolinas after Hurricane Helene and Milton. So just running back and forth, getting people, picking them up, taking them, boop, 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 boop. Just an incredible. I mean, you want to talk about diversifying your friggin' portfolio, dude? My God, my brother-in-law is doing it. So I just plugged all his businesses. I feel like I should get a percentage of the profits. That's just only fair. So those are the hurricanes. I don't know if this is related to the hurricane. It's actually not related to the hurricane. There was a port strike. I guess the dock workers at the port went on strike. And so one of the top questions related to the port strike, I believe, was, why is there no toilet paper again? Oh, man. People are frightened to not have toilet paper. I've never been concerned about that. I've never been worried about that, ever. I mean, granted, I have a bidet. No big deal. No bidet deal. I have a bidet. And I don't think I would never need to wipe again, based on the efficiency and success that this bidet has flaunted. So why is there no toilet paper again? Yeah, why is that the one thing that people go and get? I don't know. It's like, well, I guess if you don't have running water. So I was going to say, like, you run out of TP, just take a shower, bro. It would be horrific if you had a violent bout of diarrhea or dysentery. Yeah, then maybe the toilet paper might come in handy. But even then, I think the shower is the way to go. Just hang out in the shower all day. Throw on the iPad. Just let it flow, my man. Let it flow. Why is there no TP again? Well, for me, it's fairly simple. I have stockpiled paper towels and toilet paper for the past 4 or 5 years via my fantasy football draft weekend getaway that I go on every summer, every August. It's just like the guy who organizes it buys entirely way too much TP and paper towels. And so he's like, does anyone want to take this? And like, no one wants to take it. I'm just like, yeah, you kidding me? For the hurricane season, bro, I'm taking that. So, yeah, I'm that guy. What are you going to do? So I thought that was funny. And then, chivalry is a search term that peaks every October. It didn't say why, but that is super interesting that it peaks every October. I wonder what it has to deal with. I don't think it's tied into like any holiday. Maybe I'll just ask that right now. You do have access to the interwebs, my friend. Why does the search term chivalry peak every October? I think I used peak the right way. Nurse Holly didn't in her email to us today. Nurse Holly, come on now. Peak versus peak, Oh, okay. Oh, all right. That makes sense. All right. There are a lot of Renaissance festivals that take place in October. There's the Age of Chivalry Renaissance Festival. Okay. So that probably has something to do with it. Students studying medieval history. Okay, sure. Halloween costumes. So you have knights, kings, queens. Okay. Autumn and medieval themes. Due to the prevalence of medieval inspired harvest festivals or the romantic notion of chivalry set against the backdrop of falling leaves and cooler weather. Huh. It's interesting, man. It's interesting. Anyway, that made me think about this TikTok video that I saw. I didn't see it on TikTok. I don't go on TikTok. I just see recycled and TikTok videos that have been re-uploaded to X. So I saw this on X. I was talking about chivalry, and it went viral. So it's a woman, and she's recording people on a subway car or a train car. and the caption or the text on screen is chivalry is in fact dead. What happened to the days men offered women their seats? And so she's recording, all these women are standing, all these men are sitting, and the woman goes up to a guy and asks him, why won't you give up your seat for a woman? Why won't you give up your seat for me? And the guy stares at her and goes, are you pregnant? And she goes, no. And he goes, are you for equality? And she says, yes. And then he goes, then fuck off. Yeah. I thought that was funny. And it made me I was like, just when you think you know a word, that throws some doubt, like, well, what is chivalry? So then I had to look it up again because I was like, I think I know what it is. So the definition I'm more accustomed to that I think people now use it this way is courteous behavior, especially that of a man toward women. So, was that guy courteous to that woman? No. But then the other definition, this is where the definition might apply. Chivalry is the combination of qualities expected of an ideal knight, especially courage, honor, courtesy, justice, and a readiness to help the weak. So maybe he thought, he was honoring the code of gender equality or justice for all. Like this woman was trying to prosecute this guy on the spot, and he got his justice. That's the way I'm interpreting that definition from that video. Northern Lights, that was also trending. I don't think we saw the Northern Lights here. I know my niece loves it. I love them too. I don't know anyone who's like, ugh, Northern Lights. What's wild though is like I couldn't explain it to my daughter, but apparently I just thought, oh, I don't know why. It's pollution. I just thought it was pollution. Like that's how we got the Northern Lights. Like that's how much I've been bombarded with climate change bullshit. Not to say that it doesn't exist. Didn't say that. Saying don't look up. No. It's Northern. Did you know this? DYK? Northern lights are caused by solar wind particles colliding with air molecules in the Earth's atmosphere. They usually occur between 60 and 75 degrees latitude. I have to look this up. 60 and 7. Yeah. The area between 60 and 75 degrees latitude is primarily located in the Arctic region, encompassing parts of northern Canada, Greenland, Russia, and the Arctic Ocean. It's often referred to as the high Arctic. So parts of northern Canada. Yeah. So why were we seeing it? I don't know. Apparently it was seen in the United States. I don't remember seeing it, but I just know the only color in the sky related content I can think of or story is like whenever it's sun, because during the winter the sun sets earlier, and so there'll be times where Bree and I are driving home from somewhere right around sunset, and you get that beautiful palette of like pink and yellows and blues, and she always asks me like, why is that happening? Or she likes the sunrise more than the sunset. And I was like, really? Riveting shit. I know you can tell it's riveting, but it's like my favorite. I want it everywhere. Like I'm I want to talk about paths. I am a psychopath. Like I would, if I ever bought my own like home and could do whatever the fuck I wanted with it, which is never going to happen, I would do that sunset palette. That's got to be at least a room, if not an entire floor. I'm thinking maybe the basement. I don't know. Just that like sunset type aesthetic. So fucking dope. Dikembe Mutombo and Pete Rose died in October. Oh, Pete Rose was in his 80s. Dikembe Mutombo is not that old. I didn't think he was that old. But man, that sucks. Dikembe. Ooh. I mean, the lasting image I have of Dikembe Mutombo is doing the finger wag in a commercial. I think it was Geico. I don't know. But where he just like walks in, someone's shooting a paper ball into a basket and he rejects it, blocks it, and then gives them the finger wag. The other moment that I remember from Dikembe Mutombo is, was it Jordan? Jordan was at the foul line and he looks at Dikembe and he's like, hey, this one's for you. And he closes his eyes and then nails the free throw. Oh boy. And Pete Rose, I mean, that just sucks, dude. There's no way around it. I mean, I wish I could be funnier about this, but like the fact that the guy gambled on himself and gambled on his own team, and will never get into the Hall of Fame because of that, or, I don't know. And then you see sports, like gambling on sports is everywhere now. Obviously, you're an athlete. You're not allowed to do it. Just sucks because, like, I don't know. Like he didn't. If he tanked, like that's just an extra reason why he should be in the Hall of Fame. It's like if this motherfucker is tanking to lose games and still put up the numbers he did, imagine if he wasn't tanking. So in my eyes, surefire Hall of Famer, even with the gambling, because it's like if he bet on his team to lose, I don't know. But I guess the betting was after his playing career, right? I never really got to next to the permanent band sports. Rose City bet on football, baseball, and horse racing, but vehemently denied betting on baseball. Price was 10. D. Findings. Rose's alleged gambling activities in 1985 and 86 and compiled a day-by-day count. Alleged bets on 52 Reds games in 87, citing Rose wagered a minimum of $10,000 a day. Whoa. That's fucking wild. But was he playing still at that time? I think he was. You can tell, like, I follow football way closer than I do baseball. Sad. Yeah, so he was the manager from 84 to 89. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a case of, like, that's a man who just craved action and activity. That's a guy who just, like, yeah, he just wanted to get some action. He was tired of sitting on the bench watching these fools play. He's like, let's at least make this entertaining. So, yeah, R.I.P. Pete Rose and Dikembe Mutombo. Joker 2 came out, and boy, oh boy, my God, dude. I have not watched it yet. I don't know that I was like dying to see a sequel. I was interested in it though. I definitely wanted, I wasn't like chomping at the bit for it, but like I definitely thought, given what the success and just the buzz around the first movie, that the second movie is going to take it to another level. And, how is James Gunn going to respond when he now has the Batman being successful and popular and Joker, franchise series being popular? And maybe people are talking about like, how is the Joker, universe, quote unquote, going to interact and integrate with the Batman universe, and how's that going to integrate with the new DCU, DC universe, DC Films universe? And it was just like, it came out and it stunk. It stunk so bad. I never saw it, but I was looking forward to seeing it. And then this reviews came pouring in like, this is awful. This is so bad. I know it was going to be a musical with Lady Gaga, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah, sure. Why not? If anyone can pull that off, it's this crew, this cast, this crew. And sure enough, no, they did not. So I didn't end up seeing it. I've contemplated just popping it on when I have nothing else to watch, but I don't know. Maybe I'll start a timer, see how long I can last. So all those concerns about like, how is this going to fold into the DC universe? No, you don't have to worry about that. And I have two conspiracies. One is not so much a conspiracy, it's just a theory. But the other one is like a conspiracy theory. And I don't even know if you can call it a conspiracy theory. I have two theories. One is Todd Phillips, who made the first one, really did not expect the level of success it had at the box office and just in the zeitgeist in general, like in pop culture. And really did not have any intention or plans to do a sequel. And then, he had reporters asking him like, hey, this has done a bill at the friggin' BO, bro. What, are you going to sequel? And he's like, and he probably didn't think he would ever get a sequel. And the studio's like, yeah, you're giving us a sequel. So he's probably like, well, I don't want to do a sequel. Because that feels like right up Todd Phillips' alley. Like he doesn't feel like I don't know. I mean, he did have the Hangover trilogy, but some could say that even like he didn't want to do the trilogy. It was just like, here's 2, and then two did well, and he's like, all right, well, here's 3, and like, can I get out of this now? It's just like, I don't know. That's just the feeling I get about him, that he's not into franchises and stuff like that, trilogies, and he just feels forced to do it. And so maybe he didn't want to repeat what happened with the Hangover franchise, and so he's like, I'm just going to turn this into a fucking weird movie that no one will appreciate. That's one theory. And then the other theory is that once James Gunn gets hired and comes into DC universe, he's like, listen, I really don't have any plans. Like, I know this has been greenlit and you guys have already been paid. So, still make the movie, but like, don't make it good. It's almost like what he did with The Flash. You know what I mean? Like he really wants to almost extinguish anything that came before him, anything that preceded him. He's like, nope, we're wiping the slate clean. Even though he says, publicly, like, oh no, everything's under consideration. We're gonna, we'd be fools, It's like, no, you're like the GM that got hired, and you basically start trading away and cutting all the guys that were signed or the previous GM's signings and draftees. So that was the other thought. It was like he went to Todd Phillips and he's like, so do you really want this to succeed or like do well and do a third one? He's like, probably not. He's like, all right, well, we need it to tank. So do what you must and we'll write it off. It's like, okay. Like we, probably went to Todd and was like, we don't really have any plans for this. We've already got the Batman thing that I'm dealing with where it's like, it's not in the universe that I'm creating and it's like elsewhere. And I don't know that there can be another elsewhere. And it's like, Todd Phillips was probably like, all right, let's make it a musical. Get Lady Gaga on the horn. That's just a theory. Even like the Batman movie, which I love the Batman movie. I just rewatched it again. And he's like, nope, we're going to get a new like, that's not my Batman. This is James Gunn talking like, no, that's not my Batman. Like we're going to call that Elsewhere. And it was originally, the sequel was supposed to come out like October of this year, 2025. And now it's been pushed back to 2027, dude. Oh. So the theory there is like, all right, it feels like that's not even going to happen. And if it does happen, Gunn's going to intercede and be like, needed to tank. I got my own Batman thing coming out. Thank you. So, I'm essentially saying like he's doing to all the projects that aren't his. Like look at The Flash and look at Aquaman 2. It was like those did horrible at the box office because he basically came in and was like, yeah, we're not, without saying it, I guess he was kind of dancing around the issue, but he was saying The Flash is going to reset everything. And then he said, I don't even know what he said about Aquaman, but it was like, well, why would I go see this movie if it's like none of this is going to ever continue? It's like knowing it's not going to, anything significant is going to come from it. It's like, all right. So just my theory. Smile 2 was the other sequel that came out in October that got a lot of search traffic, a lot of people searching for it. I can't bring myself to watch it. I've come close because I see like the good ratings on Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb for both the first one and the second one. So I was like, maybe I should just watch the first one and the second one. Because I remember, what was it? Happy Death Day. I don't know if you remember that. They made a sequel. They might have made a third one. But basically, I was like, I don't know if I want to watch that. And then I ended up watching it and I loved it. But this one, like even in the trailers and the promos, it's just like some really stomach churning shit. I think it was like the one kid does like the whole pencil and the eye trick that ironically the Joker did in The Dark Knight. And I was just like, no, I don't know if I want to see that. And the smiling, it really gets to me. But they made a sequel and they're both getting highly rated and are successful. So maybe I should give it a shot. Two more Google search trends that I thought were interesting. Is it rude and is it weird? So the top, is it rude searches? Is it rude to not go if you RSVP? Yes, unless you were knocked unconscious or you suffered memory loss or, emergency type stuff. Yeah, it's a little rude. But welcome to my life from like throughout my 20s. I think I RSVP'd to so much shit, but that's because they gave you a maybe option. Evite. I mean, going back to Evite and then I guess Facebook. It's like yes, no, and maybe. It's like, oh, I'm gonna hit maybe hard. Like, keep them hanging, keep them in suspense. Is it rude to stare? Yeah. I guess so. But where else am I going to look? You know what I'm saying? Is it rude to cancel an interview? No, if you have a good excuse. Is it rude to say bless you? That one threw me for a loop. Is it rude to say bless you? I guess. I mean, I actually had to look it up, or I had to ask my daughter, because my daughter asked, like, why do you say that? And I think I told her what I had seen, but it's like a game of operator at this point, like, or telephone. Like I butcher it every time. I'm trying to paraphrase and I always get it wrong. Something to say to tell someone you are grateful to them when they have been kind to you. That's bless your heart, though, dude. I'm not talking about that, you son of a bitch. Said to a person that just sneezed. Expression of good wishes and parting. No. People used to believe a sneeze caused someone to expel their soul out of their body. So bless you was used as a protection. So yeah, I mean, it definitely, oof. I don't use it in that way, I don't think. It's just like, hey, whoa, that was tough. No one likes, well, maybe not. I was going to say no one likes sneezing, but there's some times where I had two monster back-to-back sneezes that are huge, where I'm basically yelling, like giving like a mating call of a moose. It feels good afterwards. So in the moment, yeah, it freaking stinks, especially when you're in a subway, crowded subway, and you're holding on to the rail and you don't cover your mouth and nose in time. Oof, that was bad. All because I read some kind of hack that, like, if you stare up at the light, you won't sneeze. Yeah. Thanks for putting that out in the friggin' cybersphere. So I guess it is loaded with a certain religious overtones. I don't know. It's just, I think it kind of morphed into like, hey, this too shall pass. You did it. You got through it. And bless your heart. Is it rude to not accept a gift? Boy. Sometimes I wish it weren't. There's just some gifts where it's like, hey, I really appreciate you going through the effort of getting me this and the thought you put into it, but no, I'm never going to wear this. I'm never going to use it. Like, I would have rather take the money. But at the same time, it's like there was one Christmas where all I got were checks, like people just handing me envelopes with cash or checks in it the whole time. And I was just like, well, this kind of isn't as fun. Top, why is it rude to? Queries. Why is it rude to stare? Why is it rude to leave someone on read? Oof. On red. Sorry. Why is it rude to? By the way, I didn't. When I first heard that, like, oh, I got left on red, or so and so left me on red, I was like, is there like a feature of the iPhone that I'm not seeing? Like, are these just Android users saying this? Like, you're like, I don't know. The color red for some reason. I wasn't thinking like, oh, they read it and then didn't respond. I try my damnedest to respond to every message that I feel like requires a response. I don't know. There are a lot of messages, from certain people where it's like they'll say something and it's like there's no, what, I don't like, that's a conversation ender, or like I don't want to have that conversation. I guess I have done that, but like if you ask a question and get left unread, yeah, that's a tough one. That's the story of my life. Left on red. Coming to theaters fall 2026. Why is it rude to interrupt someone? You know why it's rude, dude. Why are you asking? I feel like I constantly get interrupted. And it's probably why I don't have a co-host on this podcast. It's just like, I don't want to be interrupted. Just let me get my thought out. Because I'm one of those people, like, once you interrupt, it's like it's hard to get back to where I was. And like I had like the engine was humming, baby. The wheels were rolling. We were humming down the tracks. And now we're completely derailed. My mother did that to me the other day. It was just like, I was just trying to get, and I eventually said, you know what? I got to go. I can't. Why do you ask me questions? I then begin to answer and then you interrupt. my former best friend from high school did the same thing where it's like, why do you even ask the question? What's going on here? It's like that the Murphy kid, the neighbor in Home Alone who gets who the older kid counts as Kevin, like thinks it's Kevin because they're wearing the similar height, wearing the same kind of types of clothes. Murphy, the Murphy kid, when he's like just basically annoying the hell out of the two van drivers, when the vans come to pick him up, take him to the airport, this Murphy kid comes over and just peppering these drivers with questions, with con las preguntas. And both of them have the perfect like Midwestern Chicago accent. Like, hey, I told you once before, kid, get out of here. That's what it feels like talking to my mom sometimes and to my old friend. Just like, why do you even ask the question? What was the purpose of asking the question if you weren't even willing to let me give you the full fucking answer, bro? Why is it rude to eat and walk in Japan? I don't even know if I can touch that one. I think it's one of the reasons. Like, there's just some of these countries, dude. Where is it? Singapore. If you spit gum on the ground or you're chewing gum while walking, they cane you. It's like, what? Why? There's a lot of like interesting etiquette that is like, I would love to go to Japan. I don't think I don't know. I've heard that the whites, any non-Japanese really, aren't really welcomed or treated well in Japan. I don't know. Where did I think of that? Why do I have that in my head? I think because I was watching Tokyo Vice and that was like a big thing. Outsiders, foreigners, they get treated differently, as the case in probably 90% of the countries. I don't know. I don't know that many countries that aren't like fully 1000% dependent on tourists for their industry and their income. Although even them, they probably hate outsiders and foreigners even more. Eat and walk. I guess that's true. Have I ever seen anything in a movie or TV show where someone's eating and walking? This is not even an educated guess. My ignorant guess is that Japanese culture, it's like take your shoes off before you come inside. Like, it's very neat, proper, and if you eat and walk, you're more likely to spill on yourself or spill on the like sidewalk or wherever you are. That's just like a much higher probability, and they don't want that mess and that sloppiness. They're just a bunch of clean freaks over there. And maybe that's why they don't want you to eat and walk. I got to dive into that at some point. Why is it rude to wear a hat inside? I mean, I always take off my hat when I'm at the dinner table or when I'm eating a meal at a table in a restaurant or even at home. I take my hat off. You got me by the balls, man. You got me by the short and or curlies, of which there are none. Is it weird? Is it weird to go to a bar alone? No. Is it weird to talk to yourself? No. Is it weird to go to a concert alone? No. Is it weird to go to the movies alone? No. Is it weird to eat alone at a restaurant? No. Normalize being alone. I've been alone for mostly the past 3 years. It's fine. I do miss some things, but like the ability to like do what I want and not to have anyone come down on me and shit on me or trash me or mock me or criticize me or scorn me, scold me. It's like that part's nice. I mean, I used to, when my family moved to Manasquan when I was in college, it's like I didn't know anyone in that area. So I would do a lot of stuff. I would go to the bar by myself. I would go to the movies by myself. And, it's fine. Talking to yourself. I mean, I talk to myself all the goddamn time. I can't imagine like if there was footage of me talking to myself, if that shit was ever released. Solid gold, solid gold. I'm talking EGOT, my man. Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony. Eating alone at a restaurant, I like it. I don't know. Especially eating at the bar. I guess that's different. I do like eating alone at the bar of a restaurant. I like that. but eating alone, like at a table where there are other chairs, that's weird. I don't think I've ever done that. Maybe when I was flying. It's different though. So those are the top questions when it comes to, is it rude or is it weird? And one of the final searches, there's a bunch of outs here and I don't give a crap about any of it except, well, maybe there's two more that I care about. Yeah, there's this next one. Why do millennials like? So the most searched queries around why do millennials like, which I don't know. I'm technically like Gen X and a millennial because I was born like right on the cusp. I think the cutoff is 81 and I was born in 80, but it was like the end of 1980. So I'm like either a very young, the youngest Gen Xer, or I'm the eldest millennial. Take your pick. It's like, who do you want to be associated more? And I almost want to be associated more with the Gen X. I am a slacker. That was the slacker generation. Millennials got all kinds of things going on, but I guess I am more of a millennial than a Gen Xer. Why do millennials like wearing skinny jeans? I don't know, man. I don't. That's for damn sure. I mean, I've tried. I've worn more form-fitting jeans, and my legs, dude, are just so thick with 5 to 15 C's on the end of that thing. Like, it's just, so the skinny legs, the skinny jeans are tough for your boy because my calves are the size of a bodybuilder's arm. Just so huge. And then it just gets bigger from there. The thighs, the knees. I don't know anyone that has bigger knees than me. I don't know how that's possible. So yeah, it's just thick downstairs of the lower portion, the southern hemisphere. And so I don't like wearing skinny jeans. But the alternative is to wear like kind of baggier jeans, and it's like to make my legs even bigger. I don't know. Like all I know is I've only had one compliment about my legs, and it came at King's grocery store in Hoboken from the cash register, the cashier. It's like, I was wearing shorts. She was like, "You got nice calves." And I was like, "Well, thank you." And away I go. Holler at your boy. So yeah, skinny jeans. I just got Mugsy jeans for Christmas. And I was looking into getting Mugsy jeans because they were sponsored Barstool, and they were pumping it and plugging it pretty hard. So I was like, all right, sounds like they like it. Let me look up the reviews. And all the reviews were like, the pants smell. And I'm like, what? You don't like them? And they're like, well, no, they just smell. And sure enough, I put it on recently for a meetup with a friend, and it was just like, oh yeah. But it's not like it smells like doo-doo. It's just a smell I can't put it's just like, that's a unique smell. That's just it's not necessarily a stench, not really an aroma. It's not a stink. It's just, it gets in your nostrils and you're like, what is that? Why do millennials like gray? I don't know. I don't know that I have a ton of gray, but I do think that gray goes with more. It goes with the whites and the blacks and the blues and the brown, like not the browns, but most colors. Gray is a nice little complementary color, unless they meant like 50 Shades of Gray, or what's his name in Wedding Crashers. Oh my God, I forgot it. Jeremy Gray. Shout out to my 50 Shades of Jeremy Gray mashup video. You're welcome. Go check it out on YouTube. Why do millennials like avocado toast? I used to think that avocado toast is like, I'm never going to have that. It's pretentious. That's what pretentious millennials have. And then I had it and I was like, oh yeah, this is awesome. Why don't I do this every day? Oh, because avocados are like $1,000 per bushel. Why do millennials like Halloween? Like no other generation likes Halloween. Is that feels like that's got to be, I don't know. I guess we do really like Halloween because you think about it, like did a lot of people like Gen Xers maybe dress up for Halloween as adults, I'm thinking. Millennials definitely do. But the baby boomer generation, I feel like once they became adults, they were just like, no. And then the generation before them, there's no shot in hell. It just feels like more and more adults continue to dress up for Halloween and Halloween costumes. And then and then millennials maybe killed it. And so now what's the next generation? Z? And then what's after that? Alpha? Oh my God, bro. So the Zoomers, maybe they're out on Halloween costumes or Halloween. I don't know. Halloween's like one of my favorite holidays. So, yeah, Victoria's Secret fashion show was trending in October. That one was like, I didn't realize this. It returned after a 6-year absence. I was like, I didn't realize it was gone. And then I'm thinking like, oh, well, why would you watch it with your wife? Like, why would you watch it in 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022? Like, why would you watch it in any of those years when you like literally just had a kid and your wife's got all them hormones and the postpartum depression? So that's probably why. But the only reason I would watch it in the past was like my old friend from high school is a complete, utter, unadulterated hornball. And so anything remotely sexy, that's when he would be like, dude, are you watching? And I'd be like, watching what? And he'd be like, you're not watching the Victoria's Secret fashion? I was like, okay, I'll flip it on. Like, I'm just going to watch these excessively hot, attractive women in next to nothing. Okay. Like, I'm never ever going to meet or talk to any of these women, nor am I ever going to purchase any of their undergarments from the store. Come on now. So weird. My daughter did not have off for Columbus Day, and which is now also called Indigenous Peoples Day. Didn't have it off, but then had off for Diwali. So it's like my mom. It's causing my mom is like hardcore Fox News. And so she's just like, what? Oh, of course, New Jersey canceled Columbus Day. And I'm like, I think it's just like where I live. You know, Princeton's a very, I guess you would call it like, I don't even know if I should use the word progressive, but it does feel like it's in terms of Mercer County, like in all the towns in Mercer County, it's probably the most like, I don't know, diverse. I don't know if that's the word. So yeah, offered Diwali, not offer Columbus Day. Interesting things. And then the last one from the Google, second to last one. Sorry, McDonald's E. coli outbreak. I only bring this up. It started to peak. It peaked October 22nd. I don't know, and this is where I should have done some more research about E. coli because I rarely eat McDonald's now. Like I went a very long time without eating McDonald's, and then my wife at the time, like, definitely that was like her go-to order after a night of partying and being hungover. It's like, we're going to get McDonald's. There was one day where we got McDonald's, came back, ate it, and then went back, got more McDonald's, came back, ate it. I was like, ugh. Anyway, October essentially, maybe I should move this down a little bit and talk about it after the other query that I had going on. But I ordered takeout, or not takeout. I ordered delivery, McDonald's. I ordered McDonald's for delivery, which is like, you don't get more lays than that. Laissez-faire. And I don't know why. This is not the first time I've ordered McDonald's for delivery, but it feels like every time I order McDonald's for delivery, it is garbage. And I can't say hot garbage because it's cold. It's cold garbage. I don't know. It's just like, it just never is good. It's never as good as when you get it like right, like drive through order, immediately park the car and eat it. Like that's about as good as it's going to get. Yeah, because it was awful. But now I'm thinking like, but I ordered it too early in the month. I ordered it like that first week in October when I was just run down and sick. And so I ordered it for delivery and I ended up eating it in bed. It was just like, how can we make this the laziest, fattest sequence of events? Okay, get McDonald's. It's fast food. Don't go through the drive-through, order delivery, and then eat it in laying down in bed with my daughter. And then she won't eat it for whatever reason. She's distracted by the movie. And then I'll get to eat hers. Oh boy. Anyway, so that's why I thought interesting that I didn't even know. And this is why I don't read I don't look at or read or ingest or absorb any kind of news that isn't related to sports or entertainment. It's like if it like, oh, there was a hurricane. Oh, basically my mom is the news. Like she's like, I know you don't watch the news. So it's like, and I feel like that's the case for a lot of like boomer level parents. It's like, I know that my younger millennial or the younger generations just like don't give a shit about the news or mostly. And so now I am in charge of reporting the news, which is really great for me because it's like I get it through the old Hannah filter. I get it through my mom's filter, which is like, we're going to turn this shit to fucking 11. We're going to amplify and magnify and embellish this to the ends of the earth. So I don't know. She probably did mention the McDonald's E. coli outbreak. And I must have glazed over it or something. But so I ordered it in early October and then it peaked. The searches peaked in late October. And then I had this horrific stomach bug, which I'll get to in a little bit. But first, let's finish out these Google search trends. Okay, guy, cripes. SpongeBob celebrated his 25th anniversary. Now, when SpongeBob came out, I was a sophomore in college. And for whatever reason, I don't think it really made it through. It didn't make it to college. Like it didn't become popular while I was in college. And then I graduated and I ended up, I've told this before, but, my uncle, I would do an internship in the city. And then instead of having going all the way back home, I would just, which come to think of it, where were we living at the time? Oh, we were living at the shore. Okay, never mind. So my uncle's place is closer to the city, so he would let me stay there at his place, his house, and my cousin, my dad and his brothers are all like, my dad's the oldest, and he was like 10, or no, sorry, he was 8 when his next youngest brother was born. So he's like 15 years older or something like that than the second brother and 18 years older than the third brother. It's crazy. But anyway, my oldest uncle on my dad's side had a kid who was at the time was 6. And so I was interning at a indie film distributor. And then I was also studying for the LSAT. So I'd study for the LSATs and then I would watch my 6-year-old cousin at the time. He's now, he's in his 30s. Time, space. So we would just watch SpongeBob. And I was like, this cartoon is awesome. Oh my God. And so I'm trying desperately to get my 6-year-old daughter into SpongeBob. And she like kind of is, but for whatever reason, she prefers the movies over the TV show. And I'm like, I mean, the majority of the movies, if not every movie, have been heavily panned by critics and audiences. like it's just, I think maybe the first one in 2004 everyone liked, but like it seems like every movie that they put out for SpongeBob sucks. You know, we watched the most recent one about Sandy Cheeks or whatever, and it was just like, this is just not good. So she just prefers the movies, and I'm like, but the TV show is so much better. So I'm binging the TV show. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm still a kid at heart. SpongeBob was in the top 5 most searched children's TV shows since 2004, surpassing the Teletubbies. The SpongeBob side-eye meme searches hit an all-time high in October 2024, and the most searched meme is SpongeBob Caveman. Huh. Would have been nice if I actually looked these up to see if I recognize them. Really? Oh, I guess I've seen that one. Side-eye. SpongeBob Caveman? Sure, why not? Oh, I haven't really seen that one at all. That's weird. This most searched secret formula of all time is for the Krabby Patty. It's like, hey, not to burst your bub, but I'm pretty sure Binging with Babish did a whole video on making a Krabby Patty. And then I just saw, is it McDonald's? No, I think it was Burger King. They are releasing a Krabby Patty. Was it McDonald's? I think it was Burger King, but it was a limited time only, and I think I missed out on that. Over the last 10 years, search interest in Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy have spiked every October during Halloween. Wonder why? The most searched SpongeBob gifs: imagination, dancing, I need it, I'm ready, crying. The most searched SpongeBob songs besides the theme song, the FUN song, Sweet Victory, Ripped Pants, Best Day Ever, and Campfire Song. You know, it's likely that I have heard the song, but I just don't know what they're called.
F is for friends who do stuff together. U is for you and me. N is for...
Okay. This is why I'm binging. I feel like I'm missing out on a huge cultural pillar of my time here on this sweet earth. I definitely have seen this one, though. Okay. Oh, yeah. That's a great song. And then I think they did that. Yeah, they did one of the Super Bowl halftime shows, him and Kendrick Lamar. I guess it must have been when his movie came out. Was it Kendrick Lamar? No. Lil Yachty? No. It was a rapper. I think that rapper also did a track for the soundtrack, the movie soundtrack. And it's catchy, man. I like it. What is that called? Because it showed up in my rotation of like, you might like this, and then I liked it, and now it's in my likes, and now it plays, and I love it.
When I ripped my pants, I thought that I had everybody on my side.
I don't remember that one. Oh boy. Best Day Ever? Okay.
Hey boys.
No.
Let's do this.
No. Nope, never heard that one. Yeah, so I have a lot of catching up to do. This one too, Campfire Song. Sure. If I could type, that'd be great. What's this one?
I call this one the Campfire Song. Campfire-song. And if you don't think that we can sing it faster than you're wrong.
Okay. Yeah. All I know is, how do you not like SpongeBob? Top why does about SpongeBob characters, and then we'll move on to the personal crap. Why does SpongeBob SquarePants live in a pineapple? Well, that's a great question. It's weird. I don't question certain things that deserve to be questioned. Like obvious questions, I just don't ask it. I'm like, yeah, sure, pineapple. Influenced by Polynesian culture, where pineapples are a common motif in fabric and decor. SpongeBob would pick the pineapple because he's an optimist. and would like the smell. Pineapples are a symbol of hospitality and welcome in many cultures. So it aligns with SpongeBob's friendly and inviting nature. And then the uniqueness, SpongeBob's individuality and his willingness to be different. In-universe explanation, while the real world reasons are creative choices, the show itself has provided an in-universe explanation. In the episode Truth or Square, it's revealed that SpongeBob's pineapple home fell from a ship and landed in Bikini Bottom, where SpongeBob then made it his home. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Why does Patrick Star live under a rock? I mean, he's a dum-dum. No offense, Patrick, my guy Patty, but like, he's not sharp. He's dull. So, and it's like, what have you been living under a rock? I mean, come on. Patrick Star is like the definition of living under a rock. Why does Squidward tentacles hate SpongeBob? I mean, why do I hate everyone? Because we're grumpy, grouchy curmudgeons. And you hate what is it? You hate what you want to be, something like that. So anytime I see like really happy people that just have life on cruise control, it's like, people who greet the sunrise with a smile and get all their chores done before work and work out and interior decorate. And it's tough seeing other people succeed and thrive when you're struggling on the struggle bus. Why does Sandy Cheeks live underwater? I mean, they kind of explained that in that Sandy Cheeks movie, but it was like she just fell in love with marine biology, and then they wanted her to come back. She said, no, I love it too much down here in Bikini Bottom. Man, that movie stink. Why does Gary meow? The snails think they're cats. Why do they think they're cats? I mean, the snails are pets. And I just, would it be funnier if the snail barked? I think it's funnier that they meow. Every time he meows, I laugh. I think it's just funnier, cuter and funnier. I mean, just having been down at visiting my sister and her family, I love their dog. It's a great dog, young dog, physically gifted dog. But man, that thing goes outside and barks non-stop the entire time it's out there, and literally nothing's happening. Like nothing is happening. They live like on a farm. They have 2 neighbors that are very far away. There's no one outside. There is no noise. There are no cars going by. And he is just rapid fire barking to the point where it's like, how do you even have vocal cords left? Have you not completely shredded your throat and your larynx from barking nonstop, dude? And my God, when Elon Musk invents the friggin' animal translator, I hope that dog is still alive so I can throw it on him and be like, bro, what, why are you yelling? Why are you shouting? And yeah, it makes sense. I mean, a snail is more like a cat than a dog. The way it kind of, slithers around. A lot of cats, they like to move pretty slow. I'm sure there are plenty of dogs out there where it's like, whoa, my God, you slouch, just laying there napping and just, ugh. The snails, they still like to move around a little bit. They're sneaky. And I guess they do say versatility, with the inflections of the meows. So you can have like a happy meow and which I guess you don't get that. You don't see much more of that. With dogs, it's like, yeah. There's more range there, I guess. I love it though. Every freaking time that thing meows, I give it a little meow back. Why does Mr. Krabs have a whale daughter? Rude. No, she is a whale. It's a great question. Why does Mr. Krabs have a whale daughter? Chicka chicka out, chicka chicka out. Never directly explained it. It's intentionally kept mysterious. This is saying, according to SpongeBob merchandise and supplementary materials, that Pearl, Mr. Krabs' daughter Pearl, her mother is Mrs. Krabs, was indeed a whale. Whereabouts unknown for Mrs. Krabs. Well, that's an interesting little creepy twist. Mr. Krabs, possible serial killer, killed his wife in a fit of passion. Lustful, bloody revenge. Okay. There's the adoption theory. Mr. Krabs adopted Pearl after her mother died, possibly due to whaling. Oh, so sad. Mother of Pearl theory. Another theory suggests that Mother of Pearl was Mr. Krabs' pet name for his late wife. After her death, he may have adopted Pearl and named her as a tribute to his beloved wife. Okay. Navy buddy theory. One theory proposes that Mr. Krabs had a whale friend in the Navy who passed away during service, and he felt responsible for taking care of the friend's daughter afterward. Oh my God, bro. That's deep. I like that kind of depth, my man. It's 20,000 leagues under the sea depth. I kind of love all those theories. I love all of them. I want all of them to be true somehow. Why does Plankton want the secret formula? Come on, have you been paying attention? Plankton's been losing biz to Mr. Krabs at the Krabby Patty for years. How Plankton's still in business? I mean, you got me, bro. But I guess for every thriving McDonald's, there's a McDowell's, right? For every Burger King, there's a sausage queen. I don't know what I'm saying. So yeah, this is saying business success, ego, and pride, perceived injustice, world domination. So he's got his reasons. And you know what? Hard to blame him. He just hasn't cracked the code yet. I'm right there with Plankton. It's sad that I relate more to Squidward and Plankton than I do anyone else. It's like, fuck, like I'm trying so hard here and I cannot. I'm never just staring and looking across the way and seeing like everyone just enjoying their meals. It's akin to Bob's Burgers, but like flip mode. Because like in SpongeBob, Plankton's the antagonist and he's jealous of the protagonist. Well, I guess Mr. Krabs isn't really the protagonist, but like SpongeBob works there. So it's like, that's the good, successful restaurant. Whereas in Bob's Burgers is the one that's kind of struggling. And then with that Italian place across the way always gets all the traffic. So yeah, those were the top Google search trends. Reacting to those on a personal level. October was, for 3 weeks, I was like living and dying by the New York Mets. So it was like every waking moment was either spent applying to jobs, doing interviews for jobs, doing assessments for jobs, or covering the Mets and the Giants and trying to get that content out. Cause it was just October was just, Mets playoff baseball, baby. We don't get it very often. So it's like all hands on deck for that. And then that's pretty much the downfall of the Giants. It was like we got a little glimmer of hope and then it all came crashing down in October into November. So a lot of yelling, a lot of screaming, a lot of cheering, and that's why my voice was completely shot. So if you go back to like the early October episodes where I was covering the Mets and Giants, you can hear me like I am. It's kind of hot. Not gonna lie, kind of hot. Kind of wish I could just turn that on sometimes because it's just another octave. I don't even know if it's an octave. It's like, I'm all about that bass. But so the voice was shot. I had the headaches going. My mom keeps suggesting this oregano. Like she got me oregano drops. She got me oregano pills. I'm like, oregano, Mom. Oregano, more of oregano. I don't want it anymore. But it is really good. And it doesn't smell that bad. It kind of permeates everything. But it's like if I had to pick one smell to permeate, it's like oregano's. It's got some legs. The theory is that it's long COVID, since I had the COVID at the beginning of September, and it like generally went away, or like the severe stuff went away. It just kind of lingered through October. That night where I ordered McDonald's for delivery and ate it in bed, we were watching Hotel Transylvania, the animated movie with voiced by Adam Sandler and that whole crew that he's got going on there. David Spade, the dude from King of Queens, Kevin James, and Steve Buscemi, and CeeLo Green was in the first one. I think he got replaced in the second one. Not sure why. Probably a scandal. I liked it. I think she liked it a lot. She kind of binged it a bunch in October. I think she still watches it. Like, I'll catch her. She's like, I'm going to go watch something on the iPad, and she'll say one thing, and then she eventually just gravitates to that Hotel Transylvania franchise. She just loves it. A story of Adam Sandler voices the main vampire. He's got monster friends. So he's got Frankenstein as a friend. He's got the werewolf as a friend, the mummy, Invisible Man, David Spade. I feel like I'm forgetting some, and then he's got a daughter. The mother not in the picture, and so that's always like, my daughter's always hyper aware of like, all right, roll call. Where's the mom? Where's the brother? Where's the dog? Like, she has an idea of family in her head. And I don't know if that's because our family is, kind of splintered. We're not cohesive. We're not living together. So like, I guess she turns to entertainment to get that kind of comfort of something, or the ideal that she wants that she can't have. I don't know. I'm psychoanalyzing the piss out of my daughter right now. That's probably none of it's true. But she is very hyper aware of that. Like, where is the mother? Where is the wife? Where is the brother? Where's the blah, 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 blah. So she's like, where's the mother? And I was like, I think they're going to explain it. So I don't want to like guess and then it be wrong. And then I ended up falling asleep anyway. It's just that McDonald's knocked me the F out. But from what I could tell, Hotel Transylvania, the multiple times that we've seen it now, it's not bad. And then it kind of goes off the rails after the first one. I don't remember seeing, I don't know if it's the second one or the third one. I think we've seen the third one. I don't know about the second one though. I think we did see the second one. The fourth one is basura. Do not recommend. They replace Adam Sandler as the voice, and they get a guy who's doing an Adam Sandler impression. What are we doing? It's not the same. You don't think I can tell? You don't think my daughter can tell? Such a wild move to think like, no one will tell. No one will care. And I guess that is somewhat true in animated TV series, because, they like it happened in Solar Opposites on Hulu. The main dude there, he's gotten a scandal. And so is it Justin Roiland is the guy that got in a scandal and had to leave the show, or was forced to leave the show. And so he was voicing the main alien, and then they replaced him with like this British guy. And the British guy is like, at first you're like, this feels weird. And then 2 or 3 episodes in, you're like, it's fine. Different with a movie though. The movie, you're thinking about, I thought about it for like half the time I was watching it. I was like, this is not Adam Sandler, is it? And then I'm starting to look it up on IMDb, and it's like, yeah, lost me. Yeah, I had one of my best sports days of all time on one Sunday, followed by the worst sports day of all time the following Sunday. It was truly remarkable. It was like, the Mets win on a walk-off grand slam by Francisco Lindor, and then the Giants win on a blocked field goal, at the end of the game against Seattle. And I was like, wow. And then the next weekend was just it was like, oh, nope, sorry. Back to life, back to reality. Because I think the next, was it the next Sunday or was it the following Sunday? It was like the Mets get pummeled or eliminated by the Dodgers and the NLCS. And then the Giants got like shellacked by the lost a very winnable game against the Bengals, or lost, got blown out by the Eagles. I forget which. I started watching that From TV show. If you're not familiar, it's completely understandable because it's on this very obscure streaming service that you probably wouldn't even know exists if you are a Prime member and you have Prime Video, then you probably have seen it and you probably like know what's going on. Or maybe I guess if you have Roku and you stumbled across it, but it's not on any major streaming service. It's on MGM Plus, which MGM was acquired by Amazon. And like they just did away with Freevee, I think, right? FREEVEE, which was essentially like the Amazon's answer to like Tubi or Plex, like a free ad-supported television service. So that was Freevee, but they also had IMDb TV, which was Freevee, or they merged that, and so now they're doing away with Freevee. Anyway, and then they have MGM Plus. It's like, why not just, I don't know, fold it into Prime Video? I mean, it's pretty similar to what Paramount Plus did with Showtime. There was like that period where you go on Paramount Plus and like you try to click on something Showtime and it's like, oh no, this is an additional blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, I'm not paying for that. And so then I just waited it out and it was like, oh, surprise everyone. Showtime is now available to everyone at Paramount Plus. It's like, okay. So methinks that would be part of the plan with MGM Plus. It's just like, all right, no one's subscribing to this, but if we fold it in, it gives us more quality content. Anyway, long way to say, I started watching From has been in my queue for years. And I've always seen it's been like a very popular TV show, very well praised and well received by critics and fans alike. And I was like, and part of me was always saw the creative for it. And it was, it's Michael from Lost. So if you don't remember Michael from Lost, he was the dad. He had a son named Walter. There's like some off-screen drama that happened with him and the writers and the creators where they basically just did away with him. And it was like he had this whole storyline plotted out or planned out. And then, the whole story. There's a podcast called What Went Wrong or something like that. And they go into all the details of like the shit show that was Lost. Like in terms of like the development, production, all the crazy twists and turns in the writer's room, the toxicity, the abuse, and all this other stuff. And like, unfortunately, the guy who played Michael on Lost, and I sucks, I don't remember his name. He kind of got the short end of the stick there. But I think there's some producers from Lost are involved in From. Am I like completely banana? Trying to think. Yeah, I don't know. Harold Perrineau is the actor's name who plays Michael in Lost, and in From he plays Boyd Stevens. But I don't know why, but I'm looking at the creative. So basically, it's this actor, Perrineau, Michael from Lost, and he's kind of like looking over his left shoulder, and he's looking scared. And then you see behind him is like a window that's like fogged up or a little smoky. And there's like some kind of creature peering through it. And it's a white creature. And for some reason, I got in my head, I was like, and this still might be the case because I haven't finished season 3. I basically binged. So it's in my queue. I look at the poster for it. And it's basically the same poster wherever they did not change up the poster wherever you see the show on any streaming service. It's always the same poster. And no matter where I see it, it's always the same image. And it's him scared looking to his left with like this white creature that's kind of like you can't really make it out, like peering through a window. And I was like, this is going to be another one of those like takedowns of white culture. Like white people are the monsters. And I was just like, I don't know if I want to like, I don't like it. You just get tired after a while of being told that you're a villain. Like your race is like you guys suck. You're evil. You're the reason why, blah, blah. So I was like, I don't know if I can take another one of those movies. My ego, I don't know if it'll allow it. And eventually I was like, well, screw it. It's October, scary season, spooky season. This looks like a spooky, scary show. Let's give it a shot. And so I ended up having to do a free trial. It was like a 7-day free trial of MGM Plus on Prime Video. And I binged like all of season 1 in like a day. I was like, this show rocks. And then that ran out, and I was like, I can't pay for MGM Plus when it's literally just the one show that I want to watch. So then I found MGM Plus on Roku. That was a free trial. So I used the 7-day free trial on that and was able to get through season 2. And then I just started season 3. And then I was like, maybe I'll try and circle back and try and score another free trial somewhere because I can't see myself paying, whatever it is they are. I don't even know what they're charging per month. I probably should have looked it up. But I was like, well, I guess I should just probably, once season 3 ends, which I think it has, then I'll sign up for it for like a month maybe, and then binge that and then cancel it. I don't know. But such a good show. I mean, just make the most of the free trial, I guess, because I can't see why I would pay for MGM Plus. It's like, I don't know that I don't think there was much else to see or watch when I did sign up for it, but very good show. So the Perrineau, she really uses Harold Perrineau, should remember that, plays the town sheriff in a town where people can't leave. Like, they all ended up in this small town. They don't know, they were all lost. Whoa, callback. And they all arrived at this town somehow. They're not sure how they got there, but they know they can't leave. And when night comes, that's when things get scary. I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to spoil it for anyone because I do love the show a lot. I do love it. It is the end of this. Was it the end of season 2 or the beginning of season 3? Was a bit like, this is frustrating. This feels like I'm watching a cheesy, campy horror movie where the answer is so obvious. And the go-to move here is so in your face. It's unavoidable. And you chose poorly. You chose the wrong thing yet again. And it's like, these aren't stupid people. You watch the series and you're like, these are all smart people, but they make such stupid decisions. And there is a little bit of inconsistency with Harold Perrineau's character, Boyd, Sheriff Boyd. It does feel like he kind of is like a little inconsistent in what he says and how he behaves. But yeah, I gotta circle back to that because that was a great show. Got a good opening theme. Opening theme song is Case. It's a very slow, like warped version of Que Sera, Sera, whatever will be, will be. Almost like not a country version of it, but like a folk song version of it, like almost a Tom Waits rendition of it. And I was singing it nonstop for most of October. It was just like on the, Que Sera, Sera, and I'm not gonna lie, I think it kind of helped out with my mental health. My mentality was like, you know what? Whatever will be, will be. Will I be rich? Will I be handsome? Hey, whatever will be, will be. So that definitely guided me on my journey. Oh boy. Oof. Of course. Sometimes even with that helpful song, you lose yourself. And that happened one morning. It was a Thursday morning. And we were just, things were not moving smoothly in the morning when I had my daughter trying to get her ready for school. A lot of times she just refuses to get up. And I have like the lights on, the curtains are, the blinds are open, the sun's coming in, the alarm's going, I'm like talking to her. I pull her covers off. Like I'm doing everything. And I it's full circle. You ask my parents, they're like, that kid, we had to friggin' get the jaws of life to get him out of bed. Like, I just love sleeping so much. my dad would have to pretend like it was a 4th and goal at the 1 yard line situation most mornings. Like, can they stop him? My dad's the running back, and then I'm the D tackle. I don't know. So stupid. But she hates going to sleep. She hates going to bed. But yet she can't wake up in the morning. When it's a school day, when it's a home day, she is up and at 'em. Daddy, can I watch YouTube? Daddy, can I watch YouTube? It's like, regretfully, yes, for a very limited amount of time. Anyway, getting her ready for school. And, I think I've checked all the boxes. We go to school, pull up in the car line, the drop-off line. The greeter comes out, opens the door, and he goes, "Where's your backpack?" And I was like, "Well, it's right there." Oh my God. Yeah, forgot the backpack. Just completely forgot the backpack. And I was like, I said to my daughter, "What? You didn't bring your backpack? Where's your backpack? Why didn't you carry your backpack?" And she's just like, "I don't know." And then she just goes into school, and I'm like, "All right, I'll be right back." Which be right back means, that's a good 40 minutes because it's like 15 minutes one way, can be up to 20 minutes if you don't catch lights and there's all kinds of whatever. And so that was an hour. That cost me about an hour to try and go home, grab the backpack, bring it back. Ugh, the worst. So I guess she is getting a little bit better about like picking out her clothes the night before and trying to get all that done. So that's good. With Halloween quickly approaching, people were sharing what they were going to be for Halloween. And my nephew, my oldest nephew, was the toy soldier from Toy Story, which is like, and it's a homemade costume that my sister made, and it's like spot on. She basically took like, boots, pants, a jacket, shirt, like the Green Man mask over it with the green helmet, and she like spray painted it all green, the same color green that the toy soldiers are in Toy Story. And it's just like incredible, just amazing, homemade. And of course it's the family I wanted but can't have. My sister's family. They always do a group costume, which is so awesome. Like I've talked about it in the past, but this year's edition. So my oldest nephew is the green toy soldier from Toy Story. My youngest nephew is dressed up as Buzz Lightyear, which is perfect. My niece, the oldest of the three, is Jessie, the sheriff who works with Woody. My brother-in-law is Woody, and my sister is Little Bo Peep. Just like so perfect, so amazing. And so then I had my mom saying, "You need to find someone like your sister," which honestly, very weird to think about. It's like, I don't want, we're starting to, there's like some entanglement going on there. I don't want, these two shouldn't be meshing. It's not a Venn diagram. You don't want to do that. I was like, well, yeah, but that's like a little hard to do now, considering my sister met her future husband at 19, was engaged at 22, and married at 25. Yeah. Sorry, 24. Jesus Christ. Yeah. 22, met him at 19, engaged at 22, married at 24. So, a newsflash, Mom, the good ones are usually they get scooped up pretty quick. She's, my mom's like, "You should go to a cooking class." I'm like, "Go to a cooking class? Sure. Okay. You should join a rec league sports team," which, I would like to do that over a cooking class. But at the same time, it's like, I've seen these schedules and they stink. It's like, I'm going to pay an obnoxious amount of money for me, Scrooge McDuck, and only be able to go maybe half the time. It's like, and then you sign up and you join the team and it's like, it's all couples. And you're like, what am I doing here? Like I'm not at the age where everyone's available. Not yet. Whoa, ominous. You want to talk about the woes, trials, and tribs of the job search experience? You want to talk about that? I know people typically tune out when I start talking about job stuff, but my God, this is hard not to relay. I had an interview with the recruiting firm. That recruiting firm represented a podcast app, I guess you could call it, podcast service. But the only podcasts were like a narrative series, like dramatic narrative series, fictional series. And they were looking for like a creative writer. And I was like, all right, maybe it's time I get back into that game, even though like I feel like most of the writing jobs out there are just, it's depressing to think about. It's like less than minimum wage. I mean, not to rehash things, but like I had at one point when I was freelance writing, I was writing for like 4 different outlets and making maybe $200 a month. It's just like, holy shit. And it was like from the moment I wake up to, it was a 9 to 5 juggling these writing gigs and then getting paid nothing, dude, not even peanuts, which I would gladly accept. So, but this one like had a pretty decent salary range. So, but it was hard to understand what they were going for. Anyway, interview with the one recruiter. She's like, all right, well, we're going to recommend you. And we'll get back to you, let you know if they want to advance with you. And sure enough, they were like, yep, we're going to let you go. Or they want you to take you to the next step. Next step is an assessment, which is, that was, you want to know why I didn't talk a lot? It was like just Giants and Mets, and I didn't talk about life or movies or TV during that time. It's because I was doing these God-forsaken assignments. One of the assignments was for this podcast app, where they use like 5 different job titles, all of which seem remarkably different from the other. It's like content writer, creative writer, performance marketing writer. It was just like, what? Okay. Those are like they're related, but like different job titles. So in the assessment, the recruiter's like, all right, here's the assessment. It should take you 90 minutes to finish. And I was like, oh, okay. That seems easy enough. Let's see if I can find it here. Yeah. It's due ASAP, which right off the bat, whenever someone says it's due ASAP, it's like, you just gave me all the, like, I remember when I was younger and someone said ASAP, it was like, I would drop everything and do it. When someone tells me ASAP now, I'm like, all right, I'm going to take my sweet time on this. Like, cause that's not how you do things. You don't say as soon as possible because you said as possible. And it's like, what's possible? I don't know. According to Kevin Garnett, anything is possible. Anyway, 2 tasks. Task 1 is, I have to watch this 30-minute promo. Yeah, you heard me right. Someone produced a 30-minute promo. 30-minute promo for a series. 30 minutes, dude. Why? So they're like, hey, here are 3 promos. They're all for the same series. These are 3 versions of the promo. You're now going to tell us in less than 2,000 words which promo will work the best. All right. So that means I have to like essentially watch these 30, like, and they're each 30 minutes friggin' long, and they're all different but similar. So it's like, so now I have to pay attention because it's like I have to point out the differences and tell you what differences are better or worse, blah, blah, blah. So that in itself is not, like, if you just watch that at regular speed, that would be 90 minutes. That in itself, just watching the content. So of course I watch it, but I put it on like I update the playback speed to like 1.5 or 1.75 just so I can like get through it but still understand it. And then I have to write out, in less than 2,000 words, like what will have the best cost per install and the best opening funnel performance, analyzing the first 3 seconds, the next 10 seconds, the first minute, and the entire show. Okay. And then task 2 was like, here's a script for another video promo for another series. We want you to edit it and update it, the promo, which again, 30 minutes long, so that people will want to not only watch or listen to the promo all the way through 30 minutes, but then also leave on a cliffhanger so the person has to go to the app to get the rest of the story. Somewhat like, I don't want to say revolutionary, but it goes outside of what we typically think when we think of a promo. Like a promo is like, oh, it's like a 15-second quick hitting thing that just kind of teases you and gets you excited using the most outrageous moments, whatever. And so, it took me friggin' 8 hours. It's supposed to take 90 minutes. It took me 8 freaking hours. And I gotta say, like, it was good to exercise the brain and get the mind juices flowing. And it definitely, I definitely had to use some strategy there. And they ended up liking it. But my God, the content is awful. Like schlocky, low grade, low quality, melodramatic content where it's just like, they're not even trying to be clever with any of this. It's just like characters like verbally abusing people to the nth degree, like going overboard and being so harsh and so direct and so frank and like, oh, you're just fat. You're a fat little, it's just like, what? It's like the world's worst soap opera. It's just a bunch of evil people usually tormenting a female protagonist. There's betrayal, lust. I said it was like Lifetime movies in audio form. There's just cheating, mind games. The 2 stories were Saving Nora and the Billionaire's Accidental Bride. And I ended up submitting the assessment. I told the recruiter, I was like, you said 90 minutes. This took me 2 days, like over 2 days, 8 hours to finish this. And she's like, oh, thanks. I'll let them know that, their estimate was off. Like, yeah, thanks. And they're like, okay, well, now you can have your final interview with the guy from the app. And so I'm like, all right, cool. And, all signs are pointing to this guy's going to make the final offer. And I was like, this is nice. Like, I mean, the content stinks, but at least I have a chance to optimize it and whatever. And then it came down with this stomach bug. And I was I lived in the bathroom for like 2 days straight, where it was just like, I can't control anything that's going on with my body. So I can't imagine like being in an interview and like, there's a Royal Rumble going in my lower intestine. So I ended up postponing the interview. It was supposed to be on a Friday. And I ended up postponing it because it was like, oof, bless you. How rude. And I was like, maybe we'll do it on Tuesday. So I was like, I don't know how long this freaking thing is going to last. And then I ended up doing a ton of research. Like, I do research, initial research whenever I'm applying to something. But I started to dig a little deeper because I was like, I went on the app itself. And I went to the 2 shows that I did the assessment for. And it was like everything's different. Like it's like everything is just different. And then I look at the comments and it's like, whoa, what the hell is this? Like, this is not the story that I came here for. Like the first story that I clicked on was way different from this story. And it's like, oh, yeah, yeah, that's weird. That like I'm taking what is essentially the story and then trying to like jazz it up. Like it's totally different from the actual story that the person lands on and goes to. And it was like, that's all the comments were. Just like negative comments, negative comments, negative comments. Like, what happened to the story that I first saw like before coming here? Like the story I saw before is nothing like the story I'm seeing now. So that was like red flag number one. And then uh and then I go on Glassdoor and I'm like, well, it's weird. Like this company has a good rating, 3 point whatever out of 5. And then I was like, oh, but they're in multiple locations. And it looks, I think it was like an Indian company. Like that's where their headquarters were. And I was like, oh, huh. And so then I filtered to New York, or sorry, United States as the location. And it's like 1 out of 5 rating. Like these guys churn and burn through talent. Their turnover is ridiculous. You'll last less than a year. Be glad if you get 6 months. They will, it's all like, none of it's original content. It's basically just like AI pulling together a bunch of crap. And then you have to kind of, sensationalize it and make it more extreme. And I was just like, oh, no, I don't like this at all. So I had to withdraw, but it was just like, and I mean, they were contacting my references. My references were reaching out to me like, hey, it looks like you're going to get this. Congratulations. I was like, yeah. And then I had to withdraw. Dude, I cannot. And then, of course, the recruiter, I sent a polite email withdrawing my application, and the recruiter immediately calls me and is like, they were going to make you an offer, a final offer. Like it was going to happen. I was just like, I know, but like, what's the point of taking this job if I'm going to get fired and canned in 6 months because performance wasn't there and the reason it's not performing, newsflash, is because you have really crappy content and you're misleading people. I mean, it's like this is like beyond clickbait. Like what? I'm completely changing the story. Like I'm completely editing a story. I don't know. It's just like, this isn't a promo. This is like the first act of the story. We shouldn't really be tinkering with it too much, right? So the other assessment was for a company called, well, I don't know if I should throw them under the bus, but it's like a well-respected podcast in the science community, I guess you could say, medical community. A guy that ultimately I like respect, and I liked the content that he puts out there. He's a professor and a scientist, and basically is able to both give you like the advanced educational take on stuff, but also to make it a little more palatable and relatable and digestible for the common folk. And they wanted me to, let me see if I have it here. They gave me an assessment, and they're like, here are 4 full-length episodes of this podcast in video form. They're 16:9 horizontal aspect ratio. And each full-length podcast episode is about 1 to 2 hours. And we need you, as part of your assessment, to clip or cut and produce 3 clips that are around 7 minutes in length for each episode. So ultimately, I am clipping 12 segments or clips from these 4 full-length video episodes, and produce thumbnails and give them titles. And I didn't know at the time, but I was not going to get paid for this assessment. So lo and behold, that friggin' assessment took me like 2 to 3 weeks. I mean, I think I found out like October 5th. And then I didn't finish until end of October. So yeah, it was like 2 or 3 weeks of just editing. You have to watch, I watched all of them, and then I have to I upload it into this software platform that can use AI to determine highlights and moments. And so I use that. And it just took me freaking forever. it was really interesting stuff. I mean, I learned a lot, and I would love for that to get that job, because it was like, this is like really insightful stuff that I was like, I'm taking notes, and I'm like, I'm going to do this. I have an action plan. I just think producing 12 clips for 4 very long videos is overkill. You know, the one episode was almost 4 hours long. So like, you know, and if between the 1 and 2 hour range, they were all closer to 2 hours. So you're looking at, it's about at least 8 hours of video content to pour through and comb through and then produce these clips. I don't know, man. Didn't get it. Obviously didn't get it. And they gave 0 feedback. And instead they said, as a thanks, which is nice, I gotta say, it's nice to get something for completing an assessment that basically consumes your life for an entire month. That was nice to get a level of compensation to receive something in return. I did not receive money. Instead, I got a $75 gift card to their merch store. And their merch store, I was like, oh, well, that's better than nothing. So I check out their merch store. It is like literally 5 t-shirts that all just have the logo on the titty, and then a journal, a diary, like a journal that you can journal in. I was just like, you have got to be kidding me. I don't want any of this. No. So I didn't use it, but also didn't get any feedback, which sucks. Like, hey, we didn't like how this was cut. We didn't like how you colored it. We didn't like the transitions. We didn't like, you know, the start point, the end point. We didn't like how you cropped it. We didn't, you know, it's just none of that. No feedback on the thumbs, no feedback on the titles that I provided. So it just sucks. You know, I did another assessment for, I think it was Screen Rant. And like, I put a lot of effort into that. It took me almost all night. No feedback. Just like, nope. Other candidates. Ooh. When I had the stomach bug, I ended up, I was like, well, I can't, I'm so uncomfortable right now. I'm in so much discomfort that I need to somehow like settle that discomfort. And I was like, well, maybe THC will help. A little tender, high care. And so I ended up doing an edible and watching, I binged Teacup and Hysteria on Peacock. There's a 2 series. Teacup is about this family that lives on a farm in Georgia. I believe the married couple, is kind of like on the outs. The guy cheated on the woman. His mother is living with them and helping out, and they have a daughter, and the daughter is like a teenager. So they're going through it, and then stuff goes wacky. Stuff goes sideways on the farm to the point where they can't leave. Does it sound familiar? It's like pretty similar to From, in that the people who live on this farm in this town are essentially trapped. Like they can't go beyond some invisible line. And good show, not a great show. Really good premise. And I think it's a recommend from me, dog. You know, it again, they do, and I guess this is, I don't know. I guess it's unavoidable when it comes to a lot of horror movies and TV shows, but like the characters just making like really dumb decisions where it's like, oh my God. I guess it's just a standard staple of most horror movies and TV shows. Like this character there's a very clear, logical, rational thing to do right now. And they're not even under duress. So this should be an easy no-brainer. Like, yeah. So basically think, I don't even know if I want to say that because I might give it away. But they're, you know, it's, I guess, supernatural, right? Sci-fi supernatural series. So I'll leave it there. Don't know if I'll ever do a full review, but kept me glued. You know, there was definitely 2 scenes that I really liked. And the one actor they got, who I guess this isn't giving anything away, who's wearing like the gas mask in a lot of the creative, the promos. I really liked him. He was cool. But yeah, it's basically like mystery suspense thriller where like you don't know who's who or what's what. And then Hysteria. Did I like Hysteria more than Teacup? I think I did. Hysteria is like set in the 80s. These three friends, they're in a band at high school, and they want their band to take off and be popular. And at that time, like satanic cults were in the news cycle. That was, supposedly not a pandemic, but like what do you call it? Not a crisis, but it was like a trending story that, you have all these people joining satanic cults and it's destroying suburbia or something like that. And so obviously suburbia does not respond well to that news. And people get hysterical, and it's hysteria. And if you look up like the definition of hysteria, see here, exaggerated or uncontrollable emotion or excitement, which, yeah, I mean, it's contagious. One person gets it and then another person gets it, and it's just the domino effect. It's just like a virus that spreads. Ungovernable emotional excess. And there were some great cases of mass hysteria that I wish I could find right now, but it was often called a disorder characterized by neurological symptoms often accompanied by exaggeratedly or inappropriately emotional behavior, originally attributed to disease or injury of the nervous system, later thought to be functional or psychological in origin. Let's see if I can find the greatest examples, most popular examples of hysteria. The Salem witch trials. Oof. That only took place over 2 years. This is saying it's from 1692 to 1693. I legitimately thought that would have been like, it just kept happening for decades. Just like a woman don't act right and they're like, witch, hang her, burn her. The dancing plague of 1518 in Strasbourg, France, a woman named Frau Troffea began dancing in the street and didn't stop for days. Her inexplicable behavior spread, and within a month, around 400 people had joined her in the continuous dancing. Some dancers reportedly died from exhaustion, heart attacks, or strokes. The event is considered one of the most bizarre cases of mass hysteria in history. Yeah, I'm sure that's true. No way, dude. I'm not buying that. War of the Worlds broadcast, radio broadcast. This is probably the most famous one. 1938. I actually went to the park where the broadcast happened. I have a picture of it on my Instagram. Or is it on my Instagram? I have a picture of it, of the sign near the park, but it's apparently like right by us. It's like a 5-10 minute drive to the east of here. Orson Welles' radio adaptation of H.G. Wells' The War of the Worlds caused widespread panic among listeners who believed the fictional Martian invasion was real. While the extent of the panic may have been exaggerated in subsequent reports, it remains a notable example of how mass media can influence public perception and trigger collective anxiety. And I mean, that's something that you see. I mean, it's happened, a bunch of times since then. Maybe not to that extent or level, but you see it like it ramps up during election times, election cycles too. So I thought that was interesting timing that, hysteria obviously plays into the whole Halloween aspect of things with people dressing up and Satanism and whatnot, the occult, tie-ins there, but like also to the election and how that fear-based campaigning will sway and influence people to believe something that is probably not true. War of the Worlds radio broadcast. Yeah, I gotta figure out what that sign was for. I guess was there a station there? They knocked it down? Or maybe they just said it took place in that town. The radio broadcast by Orson Welles moved the invasion from the United Kingdom to New York City. But why was it New Jersey? Why did I think it was New Jersey? Yeah. Grover's Mill, New Jersey, was depicted as the initial landing site for a Martian invasion. So they have like a whole, at this park, they have a whole sign that explains everything on it. I took a picture. So, but basically this band, they're like, whoa, Satanism is taking off. We got to get on this bandwagon. Whew. And maybe that'll help ticket sales and get some popularity if we say we're Satanists and whatnot. And mainly the lead singer is doing it. The guitarist is doing it. Is it the lead singer? No, it's not the lead singer. The guitarist gets into it because this girl, popular girl that he has a crush on, gets into it. And so he wants to get in her good graces. So he adopts it. And then it just goes too far. And Hysteria do what Hysteria do, and things get nuts. But Julie Bowen from Happy Gilmore and Modern Family is in it, and she gives a really awesome performance. The kids, the three bandmates are all right. Of the three, the drummer I think is probably like the coolest, but it does feel like they basically took like three young actors from the modern world and just plopped them into the 80s. Like there's nothing really 80s about them. And maybe that's just a commentary on like, you know, a lot of these productions, they tend to go overboard with when it's set in a certain time period. They really just throw everything at the wall in terms of like just everything that happened, all the trends, all the whatever fads, you know, they just dump it all into the production. And maybe that's what Hysteria is saying is like, well, it's the 80s, but not everyone acts that way. And I don't know. It's just the way that they were behaving and talking. It just felt like that's not 80s to me. I don't know. And then Bruce Campbell from the Evil Dead franchise and whatnot. He was in it as the sheriff, and I thought he was awesome as always. So that's a recommend it for me, dog. Agatha All Along. I also watched that. Oh boy. I don't know that this series needed to exist. I mean, it was good. I think it was well received. I think people liked it. It just feels like, how does this fit into the grand scheme of things? It just feels unnecessary. But who knows? And maybe there's an important part of this and that's what's tough about a lot of what Marvel does and DC now. A lot of these comic book IPs and franchises and properties, like the expectation now is that everything has to tie into everything else. And it's like, if a series just wants to be standalone and do its own thing, it like can't. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Like like I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, but especially the ending too. I mean, I don't think it's just not my demo. I don't think, you know, it's funny though, like Disney and Marvel, like, and Star Wars, you know, Disney essentially going the witches route. Like they went for witches, you know, they kind of blew out the whole witch angle in The Acolyte. And now they got witches. It was all about witches in this Agatha All Along, which starts off doing a parody of, was it the Mayor of Easttown with, she was in Titanic, and she was also in Kate Winslet doing like a very extended, lengthy parody spoof of the Mayor of Easttown, where Agatha is like, I'm a cop, and you know, and doing like over the top things, like basically, yeah, poking a little fun at Mayor of Easttown or true crime, True Detective, you know, those kind of like gritty murder true crime series. Not true crime, Jesus. And then you know, that switching that. So I think it was like we know what worked in WandaVision, or we know what got attention and got engagement or got reaction in WandaVision. It was like doing this wacky, what's going on type angle where it's like, this can't be the show. And then eventually like peeling back the layers and revealing. Similar approach here. And I mean, of the episodes, the one where like they're all like in this shore house, like this nice house at the beach, and like they're all dressed like very waspy, preppy type ladies, drinking white wine and whatnot. I thought that was funny and interesting. But the one that was like the most, I don't know if you want to say compelling, was probably the one where it's they're doing like a take on the Wizard of Oz, and the one witch is playing like the Glenda the Good Witch. I remember that being like, pretty intense. I don't know. It felt like it was hard to get into. There's one scene where like they're in the 60s or something and they're all in a band, and like it just felt like an extended fever dream. And I was like, I don't know. I think I want to opt out. Well, what's her face was great. I mean, I hate that I keep forgetting her name, but Catherine Hahn. So you remember her from like Step Brothers, Ron Burgundy, Legend of Ron Burgundy, Anchorman. Such a great actress and is so awesome in everything she does. So she like kept the train on the tracks for the most part. And then the other part of this that I really appreciated and liked was Aubrey Plaza as Rio Vidal. Oh, they even have the mom from that 70s show, Mrs. Hart, who gets caught up in everything. Agatha goes to her and thinks that Mrs. Hart is like this witch who, because that's what happened to Agatha. She kind of forgot that she's a witch. There's some kind of spell or something. And so she thinks Mrs. Hart is also a witch, and it turns out not so much. So that was fun to see her go along with everything. Lilia is the name of the character. Patti LuPone is the actress, but I think it was like the penultimate episode, like the one that's before the finale. That was like her time to shine. So she did an awesome job. Basically I don't know if that's her power, but she can just jump around in time, but I don't want to say it's all happening at once. Maybe it's like her consciousness can travel in time, because something will happen and then she'll like wake up and her body is a child and she's in the like 1800s. And then the woman sitting across from her is like, where did you just come from? Because she can know that she's just doing this time jumping thing. So to me, she was kind of the most interesting character, because like the first half to most of the episodes before we get to, each episode is kind of like we delve into each character's history, which I think is is a smart approach that I see a lot of shows take, where it's like, okay, we have 10 episodes. Let's just have like 6 or 7 main characters and we'll delve into each character per episode. Like Creature Commandos just did it too, which I just finished, where it's like, here are the 6 members of this team. First episode we'll do in the backstory of that'll be the not subplot, but plot B. Like plot A is the main plot where we have this objective, we're going as a team, we got to do this thing. But like the subplot is like backstory on the one character. And so, the first 6 or whatever episodes, majority of the episodes, like this Lilia is like coming in and out and saying weird shit. And you're like, what are you talking about? Like, you're losing it. You're crazy, blah, blah. And then it's finally revealed in that one episode where they focus on her backstory that she's been just time jumping. So like the thing that she said at this moment was actually because she was just about to say it at this time in the timeline where it did make sense. So it did make sense at that time. It doesn't make sense in this time because she jumped. So, but then it all kind of comes together, which I love that, dude. I think everyone loves that little was it called? Satisfaction, closure, tying up the loose ends. Ugh, so satisfying. So yeah, that was probably my favorite episode of that. And then Halloween. Finish up with this. Halloween is like the one of the few times per year that we all get together. You know, me, the ex, and my daughter, our daughter, all get together to go trick or treating. This year, my daughter dressed up as Taylor Swift. I have been informed that it's from the Sparkling Lights era. Sparking Lights era. I don't know. I don't think I got that right. I don't think that's right. Is it right? Sparking lights? Sparks fly. Oh, wow. Is it Sparks fly? Yeah, this Sparks fly era. What the fuck did I write that? I wrote down sparkling lights era or some bullshit. It's from her Sparks fly era. It's basically just it was like a glittery, not even a sequin dress, but like looks like a flapper, you know, like an old school flapper costume. And she wore her sparkly Uggs and carried around a fake microphone. So she dressed up as Taylor Swift from the Sparks Fly era. And then her mom also dressed up as Taylor Swift from the something era. It was like, t-shirt. What was it? Oh, it's the A Lot Going On at the Moment t-shirt. I think that was it. A Lot Going On at the Moment. That was the t-shirt. So she wore that with she looked like she was an extra from A Clockwork Orange. I don't know if that's officially part of the Taylor Swift canon and timeline and era, but that's kind of what it looked like. And I did not go as Travis Kelce. And you know what? In retrospect, maybe that was an oversight. Instead, I wore my full Bengal tiger onesie that I purchased last Halloween, and they guaranteed it would be here in time for Halloween, and it came the day after. So I was like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Dia de los Muertos, but this is too late, my man. And I ended up getting a refund for it, but I was like, I'm keeping this tiger costume. I can't be friggin' Godzilla or the monster lizard again. Got to shake it up, mix it up. So I was a Bengal tiger. And so they had the parade at the school at like 1:45. Went there. They did it was like just a little mini parade. They walk in a single file line, walk around, walk out, walk around the parking lot, walk back in the school. And then school's over. And of course, her mother had to do work because she always does work. She does work nonstop. You need evidence of that. Just go back to any episode from when we were together. It just doesn't matter where we go, what we do, work. So she went home to do work for like an hour or so. And so we just hung out at the playground a little bit. And then we walked to her mother's, which is nearby. And she drove us over to the Alchemist and Barrister. We had a late lunch and an early dinner. I got the Aaron Burger. Got to look that up because I'm telling you, that's all you got to do with me. That is all you have to do with me is just give it a funny name and I will freaking do it. I will order it and I don't care how bad it tastes. Well, that's all you have to do. I don't know if they're going to show it. I was hoping they'd have it. Maybe they have it on the menu, but it felt like it was a special edition type thing. So let me see if they have it online. Probably not. Unbelievable. Let's see if they got it. They do. The Aaron Burger. All Angus beef burger, smoked Gouda cheese, bacon, lettuce, tomato, red onion, and dueling sauces. Ranch below and barbecue on top. Great idea. Served in a brioche roll with a pickle spear. So I got that. It was excellent. And then there's a drink called the Witch's Brew, which it's definitely not on here. It was a special, but that hit the spot as well. Of course, it was a girly drink, and I'm a girly drink drunk, so that's what I do. And I don't know. I have no defense, and I don't think it requires a defense. Oh, here it is. Oh yeah, it is. It's colorful. I'll say that. It's like a purplish, bluish, greenish little colored concoction. And of course, you have to scroll to the ends of the earth to find out what the frick is in it. Dear God. All right. Jesus. Gin. Okay. Pearl luster dust. Where the hell do you get that? Gin, sparkling water, simple syrup, lemon juice, blue carousel. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It looks cool. I liked it. It tastes good. This person used a rosemary and herb infused syrup for the wish brew. Yeah, get funky. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, and then you can create a little smoky effect by adding a nugget of dry ice to the glass. Very cool. I friggin' liked it. I do not care about the opinions that are being formulated in the chat. So after that, went up Witherspoon Street to see her teacher. Her first grade teacher was handing out candy. That was a nice little walk. There was, oh my God, someone dressed up as what do you, I forget what we call, like, what do you call in the Scream movies? What do they call the friggin' guy? No, dude. What do you call the killer? Ghostface. Jesus Christ. So someone had dressed up like Ghostface. How did I forget that? Along Witherspoon Street, and they were holding the bucket of candy. And my daughter just was like, nope, no thanks, not going close to you. And the person was like, well, what are you doing? Why don't you come up? Are you scared? And I was just like, yeah, dude. That's one costume where it's like, you can high alert. I don't care. You're big, small, fat, thin, like in a wheelchair. If you are wearing a ghost face costume from the Scream movies, you're on the sus list, dude. Like you can't be messing with that. The other costume that I think is on that level, the same level as Ghostface from Scream, has to be the workers in Squid Game, like with the triangle, with the masks and the triangle and the square and the circle. I can't believe that hasn't been like outlawed. I know that's such an old scaredy cat pussy take, but like, I guess Ghostface would be scarier because it's like they could have a knife. A knife is easier to conceal and get around. Like maybe a little bit harder in Mercer County to carry around an Uzi or an AK. So, yep. And then we went back towards her school for trick or treat, and they have this one street that's kind of like pimped out where everyone brings out the tables and has like gets together. I roll up in my tiger costume and I run into one of her classmates' mothers who I've literally hung out with and talked to at length. I was at the friggin' Stinky Cow Parade. Was it last November? 2 Novembers ago? Like we hung out for the entire day. And I roll up with, my daughter and her mother. And this mother's wearing like almost like a pink cowgirl outfit, like a bachelorette party in Nashville on steroids, the way I would describe it. And she's like, don't mind me. I'm just an unhinged mother. And I was like, all right, I can dig it. But then she turns to me and she goes, hi, I'm so-and-so. She says her name. Hi, I'm so-and-so. And I'm like, hey, so-and-so, I'm Neal. And she's like, oh my God. Yes, I know you. And I was like, yeah, I have a forgettable face. I know. So I was just like, yeah, I get it. I need to do more. I need to be more. I get it. So yeah, we just tagged along with them. walked around, got a ton of candy. That's the weird thing about my daughter is like she definitely ate her fair share of candy on Halloween and the next day. But I have candy from like 3 Halloweens ago. Like she doesn't really like she knows where it is too. Cause I ask her to get like when she wants dessert or snack, I'm like, yeah, just go in the cabinet where it is. And then, she has to see it. It's in plain view. I'm not hiding it, but she just doesn't, unless she's like super stealth ninja sneaky and is just like gradually eating away at it and I don't see it or know about it. Very possible. But yeah, she doesn't really gorge. Like I binge and I gorge. and it never works out for me. To this day, it's just like, all right, well, you didn't need a 5th slice of pizza. And you could have saved, like, you could have made 3 more portions out of those wings that you just took down. So, yeah, that was Halloween, pretty nice. We carved some pumpkins. We went to, there's a family fall fun day at Terhune Orchard. So we got like, apple slider slushies, picked out a pair of pumpkins, got some meals in our system. Carrying those pumpkins, my freaking God, dude. My word. I've never struggled so much in my life because she picked like the 2 biggest ones. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. Let's go big. Because it's all part of the price that I paid, which was outrageous to begin with. But like I'm trying to carry it by the stems, and it's like all of a sudden the grip starts to go out, and then like heaving them up and put them on one on each shoulder, and it's like you look like you're old school breakdancer from the 80s with a boombox on each shoulder. So I like barely made it to the car. I'm surprised I didn't drop one and like have it and smash it, dude. But so yeah, we carved pumpkins. She did a unicorn, a zombie unicorn kitty or a unicorn kitty zombie. It was basically a kitty with a unicorn horn who's also a zombie. So it's like, it was pretty cool. Like I tried to let her do most of it on her own, and she fared fairly well. I had to fill in here and there, and then I did. If you're familiar with Beetlejuice, don't say it 2 more times. Alec Baldwin's character Adam, when he and Gina Davis's character, the married couple, are like, they're going and they're like, we need to get the Dietzes out of our house. We can't stand them. They're annoying. We don't want to use Beetlejuice. Okay. I've said it twice now. I'm not going to say it a 3rd time. Okay. And they want to get rid of the Dietzes, but they don't want to use the B guy. And so they get tips on like, all right, well, give it a shot. Try and scare me. Really, go all out. By the way, that old lady from Beetlejuice. Oh, I said it 3 times. Here he comes. So awesome. And I just watched the sequel, which hopefully I'll do maybe a little mini review of that at some point. And she obviously wasn't in it because she was probably on the older side when it came out in 88. So, but she definitely a highlight for me. Like she had the, chain smoker who had the open neck hole, blow smoke through it. It's like so good. That was it getting at. Oh, so when Alec Baldwin's character Adam has to, they're like, all right, well, give me something, do something to scare me, and so Gina Davis, she like extends, she like lengthens her mouth so that it's almost like a horse snout, and then she pokes her eyes back into her skull and it falls down and goes in her tongue. So that's hers, which I would have loved to do for my daughter's pumpkin, but she was not having it. I did Adam's kind of haunt freak out. where he takes his hand, he opens his mouth. So he does kind of a similar thing to Gina Davis's character, extends his mouth, his nose and mouth to look like a snout, and then sticks his hand through his mouth and not back through his head, but like where he creates the fingers in his head, you know? And then, he also pops the eyes out, I think. So it's just hollow black eyes. Anyway, that's what I did for the pumpkin, for my pumpkin carving. And I think it turned out really well. You can see the pictures on the Insta and the book. And I might have even tweeted that motherfucker. But yeah, so Halloween was all around a success, I think. I know our daughter loves that time to be with the both of us. And, her original Halloween costume was like 90s raver. I was like, I wanted to ask her mother, I was like, why did you buy that for her? Like, what? First of all, why did they sell 90s raver as a Halloween costume for kids? A. B. Why would she wear that? Like, all right, 90s raver. So, am I happier with Taylor Swift? Yeah, I guess. At one point, she wanted to be like a butterfly. I was like, let's continue to workshop this. I have some notes. So, all right, that wraps up October, aka Shocktober, aka Rocktober, aka Croctober, aka Schlocktober, aka Clocktober, aka Space Doctober. I hope you enjoyed this episode. It was a doozy. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And what's the teaser? What's the cliffhanger for Noviembre? November? Well, yeah, my birthday. We had a college football game. We had what I thought was the beginning of an invasion, a global invasion, War of Worlds style. And then my time giving thanks for all that I have, that I'm blessed with down in South Carolina on the farm. So that's coming up for Noviembre. And then I'll even do a teaser for Diciembre, December. I got one word for you. Pink eye. So that'll do it. I'll talk to you guys next time. Adios, muchachos.